Hi team. Before we go into the actual workflow, let me just tell you that the ERP also has different roles assigned to it, and the roles are based on the different departments that we have, and all the permissions and everything is as per the role. So, for example, there are roles that is like production, then there is warehousing, there is purchase, then there is sales operations and dispatch. So, it's like a single department. So one role you can actually understand it as one department, and they will only have permissions for the actions that they are supposed to do. For example, the production team will have access to all the production processes. They will be able to edit and update all those production information, but they'll not be able to update the inventory, for example. And vice versa, the the store team or the warehousing team will have access to all the inventory modules, but will not be able to um change or edit anything from the production module, for example. So for our use case, we have just four use cases to start off with. So we'll have one production role, we'll have one warehousing role, we'll have one purchase role, and we'll have one sales ops and dispatch role. So these are typically the operations that we will have to do in ERP, using ERP. So let's just start with sales operations and dispatch. So for example, anytime a new order comes, you have to punch an order. So that order punching some is done by the sales team. So that is one task we'll have to do in the ERP. As soon as we get an order, we have to punch the order. It's that once you punch, it's called order confirmation or sales order in other ERPs, or in other terms that's called sales order. So in Tranzact it is called order confirmation. And now once the order is punched, now there is a material sourcing part, where if the raw materials are available or not, so that comes under the purchase team. So their main task will be to have, issue purchase orders and get the items into our warehouse, inverting them into our warehouse. So that will be done by the purchase team. Now once the materials are in the warehouse, now we talk about production. And in production there are two things. One is production planning and one is production execution. So we have a production planning module in Transact ERP, wherein we can list out the items that we are going to planning to produce, and we can check if we have all the resources for it. For example, we are producing like 10 different products, and we can actually list them out and see if we have the necessary raw materials required for those items to be produced. So that is the production planning module or resource planning module, so which is used to understand if we have the raw materials available with us. Now once it is done, then there is a workflow based production process, where the production starts, and then by the time it completes, the raw materials gets converted into finished goods. So that is the production execution part. And then parallelly we also have the warehousing team. So something that is purchased, it comes to the warehouse. So the material invert and with the QC has to be done. So there's an inverting process that we have to do through Transact. And also the second option being, once the production happens, the production team will request for materials. So the materials are allotted, and that is also coming under the authority of warehousing team. So these are the three four different departments or roles that we will be having, and these are typically the actions that we will be taking through the Transact ERP to start off. So one is order booking the orders, which is order confirmation or order punching. Then purchasing the items, that is issuing a purchase order to our vendor. That is another action that we are going to take through Transact. Once the the order is placed through with a purchase order, when the items raw materials arrive, we have to invert it in our warehouse. That is one step. And once the item is inverted, then the production team will request for those materials to be allotted for the production floor. So that is again a stock allotment process. And once that is done, the production process starts. And once the production process completes, a finished good is ready, and again this finished good gets you know uh, added to the finished good stock, and once that is there we can dispatch this item with the proper invoice and delivery challan. So that also comes under QC and dispatch part. Here I have mentioned it. So that also comes under the sales ops and dispatch team. So these are typically the operations that we will have to perform through Transact. The moment we do all this operations through Transact, all the other relevant information will get captured parallelly, and we'll have a lot of data with us to take better decisions based on those data.